Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of GRAFFTV. Tonight, we have another Los Angeles legend in studio. He's a 3D wild style innovator who's been part of Los Angeles graffiti culture for almost 30 years. His art can be currently seen all over the city. And at one point in the early 2000s, he held the record for most legal spots in all of Los Angeles County. Ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming one of the most creative graffiti innovators to come out of Los Angeles. It's the one and only BUTCHER AAA.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, awesome. Thank you for joining us in studio finally, bro. How you doing today?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing great, bro. I'm excited to finally have you in studio. When I first started GRAFFTV and began looking for guests, I was thinking of all the different writers that I've come across, throughout my life. And when we moved to Silver Lake at a young age, bro, you were one of the first writers that I saw all over the city. Especially in a time when it was all about tag banging, in that area.
Yep.
So first, bro, I'd like to start. Where did you grow up? Where were you born?
So I grew up, I'm 44 years old. In July, I'll be 45. I grew up in between, let me start from the beginning, by King. The house I was born in Kaiser, but the house I lived in was right by King Junior High on Fountain. And that was in 79, and in 85 we moved right down the street off of Sanborn and Effie, and I lived there till late 86 or 87, and we moved to Vendome, right by Los Globos, and I lived there till I was an adult.
So your whole life has been
In that
Silver
area.
Lake.
And until this day, so my children are up north, my two youngest sons, I spend half my time here and half my time up in the Bay with my children and then working on my art stuff down here and back and forth. So I'm here 3 months, there 3 months, here 3 months, there 3 months. But yeah, I started in that little area, Virgil Village, and that whole little, like when you had the interview with RT, TKO, and he was like, yeah, I was, my mom wasn't around because she was out gangbanging. That's my homegirl, his mom. So that's the neighborhood. I'm like, that's how I knew who. I'm like, who is this fool?
I see.
I'm like, I know who this fool is and shit. So yeah, that area is where I was born and raised, grew up. So yeah, I knew that.
Silver Lake has gone through a huge transformation over the last couple of years, several years. Can you explain what life was like in Silver Lake back then growing up? What was Silver Lake like?
Okay, so there's two sides. So if you look at like the hipster area, where you go north of, you go west of Hyperion, that's was the gay community right there. You know what I mean? If you went just like right there off of Sunset Boulevard, if you went down past Jiffy Lube, down like anywhere, as soon as it went downhill, where Erewhon's is now, that's the hood. It was hot. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be there, anyone. You know what I mean? And so with me, tag banging was invented by Fox 11 News. I know there were dudes that claimed they were tag bangers, but I was told all the tagger crews were tag bangers when I was a teenager, and that was more like some sort of Fox undercover infiltration to get taggers dumped on. That's how I looked at it, so I never associated with that. And if anything, it was, okay, I always wanted to paint. I drew when I was a kid. Like, if you check my Instagram page, there's a photograph of me when I was 4 years old at Barnesdale, like, ooh. And so I always drew, I always painted, you know what I mean? So when I started doing graffiti, it was based off of my experiences and seeing things like in Hollywood, different, I don't know if it was, honestly, I'm just gonna be straight honest. I'll give props to all the old school crews, but I was too young to even know who the crews were that were doing the graffiti. I just remember seeing graffiti at the Boys and Girls Club of Hollywood. Some dudes crewed up and then painted the whole gym. So maybe someone could comment and chime in on that later, because I was too young. I was 7 and 8 years old, but I've been interested in it since then. But in my area, there was not many, and this is starting with my childhood. It was all gangs.